And other than that, what did everybody get up to today?
What?
I worked or I was live until about 7 or 8 in the morning, so I slept.
Is that a common occurrence?
Yeah, that's my stream schedule, like 3 a.m. to ridiculous.
Oh wow, that's crazy. What about you, Foxy?
I had tourney qualifiers for the Game to Give charity tourney on the 13th, so that was fun.
Oh heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, my team qualified, so that's exciting. So we'll play on the 13th.
Okay.
Congrats. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any idea who you're going to be playing?
Some very good players I know, like Glow, Cool Cheese, Nighthawk have a team, and then I think Omelette, Nervous, and Act. I know they're two really good teams that we're probably gonna have to face.
Okay.
I'm not sure who. There are 8 teams, so I'm not sure who the other 5 are yet.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Aura, what about you?
I did laundry and I
How'd that go?
vacuumed. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I made the bed this morning.
Sweet.
And oh wait, I did a lot of I worked all week and then I got home and then I turned on Destiny and then I went right back to work doing strikes and nightfalls so I can use the brand new subclass. Yeah, so I just got back from work actually. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It
Okay.
was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What?
It's cool.
Where did you clock in at? Did you clock in?
I
on
clocked
Hunter?
in at the EDZ with some
Titan?
friends. We rigged a strikes and nightfalls so that we could cheese killing champions and getting
Okay.
stasis kills. So I went to the EDZ with a buddy and his alt account that
Mhm.
had a macro, and we queued Lake of Shadows, and I just went around the EDZ grabbing public event flags and using my super 90 times,
Nice.
I love.
so I could enjoy the new subclass. So
Oh,
I could
yeah.
enjoy the brand new,
And
so I could do the first new subclass in eternity. I did all that stuff so I could learn it.
And you only
Yeah.
have to do that once, right? You don't have to do that again, like on different.
Oh, I
characters,
have to do that on my other character too, don't I? For my aspect of
You have to do it on all,
Shatterballs
don't
or
you?
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Mm.
boy.
All 3. You get to
Sweet
do it
summer
on all
child.
3.
Thank God I have something to do. I'm so very worried.
Sweet summer child. Well, I had a good day so far. I streamed today. I helped some people with like a DSC, and that was pretty much it. Struggle bus through a 1280 with some buds, and yeah, there was a lot of yelling. There was shrieking actually. It's pretty ridiculous.
Was that by the Shriekers themselves or was that you?
No, that was me. That was me. You
Oh,
can
okay.
see it. You can see it in the VOD if you want to. You don't have to though.
Okay.
I'll send you the audio recording. I've just stripped it out of the video.
Just make it sound notifications.
Yeah, like oh no, balls. Yeah, that'll be fantastic. So, other than that, welcome folks to episode 263 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Tonight, I will be your host, Danfinity. I am joined by regular panel host Aura. Hello.
Irregular at best. Let's be honest.
And tonight we have 2 guests, Vixin and Foxytocinn of the Scrim Queens, joining us this evening. How are you guys tonight?
Doing well.
Good. Well, welcome in. We're glad to have you. I'm excited to have you. And this has been a while in the making. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves, a little bit about what you do in the Destiny community, and we'll go from there.
Do you want to go first?
We do this every time we do a podcast together.
Pretty well rehearsed then, right?
Okay, we're
Well
good.
rehearsed.
Well, I mostly stream PvP. I pretty much just play like pickup scrims and have gotten into tourneys over the last couple months.
Mhm.
I have done some PvE more recently because I've actually found Beyond Light PvE to be pretty enjoyable. I really enjoy DSC like a lot. I think I've done more clears of it than any other raid. But yeah, I kind of just like stream playing whatever I want to play and hang out with friends and stuff like that, and like post memes on Twitter. I think that's the extent of my content career for Destiny.
And you, Vixin?
I'm the late night QP creature. I can hear. There we go. I stream late night playing PvP, and that's about the extent. Lately, with the new Beyond Light, I'm actually really enjoying the raid.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm not streaming, I'm playing the raid or working. But
That's
that's
awesome.
about it.
What has led you guys to enjoy this raid more than maybe others? What has drawn you to it?
I don't really know what it is. I just know I like the mechanics way more than was it Garden was the last one?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the mechanics are just a lot more fun on this one.
Yeah.
Deep Stone Crypt kind of gives you a vibe of like there's something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just want to murder trash mobs when you get to 10x phase 1, like that's really all that is you got a couple people running mechanics and then a bunch of other people trying to slay out while all that's going on, and you've got heavy mechanics that are unique, stuff we haven't really seen before, and at least that I can recall.
Right.
So it feels like it brings everybody in, and whether this is good or bad, it doesn't really slap you around the way that some raids have in the past. This one is a pretty survivable, approachable raid for almost anybody, really,
Mm-hmm.
and almost to the point where low power level can even jump in and get clears. We brought Princess Goose through at 12:14 or 12:16, so Deep Stone Crypt has been a lot of fun. It's been the only reason I've turned my PC on, if I'm being honest. The only reason I've played.
Yeah. It's interesting to try to teach, because instead of, I feel like it's one where you don't have to tell the one person that you're working with the entirety of all the mechanics. You can say, okay, this is what our job is, and then work with just that, and they can get it on a grander scale eventually. Like the suppressor role is one of my favorite roles to play in the new raid, and like how you bounce between the bubbles, and especially if you're using anarchy, you can just do dumb stuff, just bouncing between them. But the person backing you up, really, they just need to understand that they need to hit that they need to hit Taniks while in the suppressor, and they also need to do that quickly in order to open up the coolers, as I've been calling them, for other people. Then that's pretty much their job. That's all they really need to know outside of DPS. And so it's very teachable in a lot of ways, and you can really master a role from what I'm seeing. So well, cool.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm.
I also I like that you can do that, or if you're running with if you're running with people who already know it, I like that it was very easy to get everyone involved.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty easy to teach everyone the roles. So I feel like anyway, you could know every role. Like it probably took me a lot of runs through Last Wish. I remember like doing so many Last Wish to learn every single role, like to where I didn't have questions or like knew what I was doing every time. And then this one, it's like you can switch between roles really, really fluently, which I think is fun. But
yeah, and just the whole aesthetic of it too, of like being able to see the role that you're taking with just the halo above your head, is pretty sweet.
Not only that, but it's like the first one that had a narrative to it since Last Wish. You know what I mean? The first one that told a story. I think that and I guess the right word would be like theatrics. Like this has theatrics that I think this is the first time I've ever seen anything like it in Destiny. Like the giant statue when you first got to Atrax, right? And then going into space. Hello, like the space ride is one of the coolest things I've been a part of. And then the space ship crashes and you're part of that landing site. So like that was in my and this is like a Bungie raid, right? Like they did this. This wasn't Vicarious Visions. This wasn't, I forget the name of the other studio, forgive me, but like this was Bungie who did this, and I loved it. I mean, everything about it. Again, I get fired up about it because like if I get a message, yo, you want to raid? Like, yes. I don't care what I'm doing. Yes, I do.
And we talked about it a little bit last week. One of the coolest things about that is being able to reroll on the final chest and using that as a vendor.
Yes.
It's so I finally
I
got
love that.
Yeah. I finally got a shoddy, what was it? It had reconstruction on it, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was very good. I was like very excited for it to come in. Yeah, it was reconstruction and unrelenting, but it was the first shotgun that I had that had reconstruction on it. So I was like, this is going to be great for Taniks next time. So very excited about that. When it comes to just in general gaming, what's some of your backgrounds in it? Like what led you, like what caused you to start playing games, and what led you specifically to like Destiny with the competitive shooter aspect to it?
I actually came from like single player games like Skyrim and
Mhm.
Fallout and a lot of things with huge stories. And I had never played a shooter before in my life, and one of my friends told me, here's a beta code for the first Destiny, see if you like it. And I fell in love. And then Destiny 2 came, and somehow I just completely flipped to PvP. And now that's mainly what I play, is PvP.
That's awesome. What about you, Foxy?
I've been playing story games and stuff like that for a while too. Obviously, like I remember playing like carrying around my Nintendo like it was another limb when I was a little kid. And then I think like what solidified my love for gaming in general was actually the Assassin's Creed series.
Okay.
But I played with my brother on our shared Xbox. Actually, he used to stick me in Halo private lobbies and shit on me for fun. So I think that kind of like gave me that like PvP drive, I guess. And I did enjoy FPSs. I just didn't play that many of them until Destiny 1. And I actually only played like 2 or 3 months of Destiny 1, I think, and I loved it. So I was super excited for Destiny 2 to come out. And when it did, I like nonstop played PvP. I was just in there the whole time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Mhm.
what led you guys to start Scrim Queens? Like how
Um,
long has that been? Has that been in a community organization that you guys have headed that up? That came about just this year, right?
yes.
Yes.
So it actually stemmed around that time on Twitter when we were coming together for females, the best way that I can describe it. There was a lot of outings of some bad stuff in our community, especially like the PvP community. And I don't know, a fellow like streamer had all girls PvP nights where we just did custom matches. And it just made me realize that there wasn't really like a gateway that I knew of for females to get into the competitive scene. And I brought the idea up to Foxy, and that's where it starts for me.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I think Vixen and I always say we have like the same brain, and I think it's like very true because when all that stuff was happening in the community, I was on like the same train of thought. At the time, I was like grinding pretty hardcore to try to get where I thought I needed to be skill wise to at least like be respected in the PvP community, and specifically in the sweat community at the time. Um, and I just like noticed that there were like next to no females in it, and I was like, is that because they're not interested in it, or is that because there's not a gateway? And then literally right at that time all that stuff came out, and I was like, that's why there's no one in it. Like it makes sense now. So yeah, when Vixen actually reached out to me and she was like, I'd love to do something like for the ladies in the PvP community, I was all in. I was like, I love everything in regard to competitive PvP for Destiny. So anything I could do to help.
That's awesome. So like what all in the wake of all that, what all are you guys doing in your community to keep the Scrim community alive?
We host Wednesdays every night. We took a couple of weeks off for Beyond Light just to give everybody the opportunity to get their gear and get stuff going for Raid Ready. But we're coming back. We did last week, and I didn't participate because I had to deal with a hospitalized patient. But I heard that it was really fun coming back again, and a lot of the girls missed it. They for many weeks they asked me when we were coming back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think a couple months ago we kind of started I guess it's been more than months now. At first, we started just doing all ladies pickups, just strictly ladies in the community that wanted to get involved. We kind of wanted to give everyone, after everything that had happened, like a completely safe environment where they didn't have to worry about, like getting egoed or anything like that. And then we kind of started trying to integrate a little bit with some clans in the community that we knew were clean and positive and trustworthy. So we've been doing that ever since. We still have occasional ladies' nights and stuff like that, but we're really trying to like branch out because the ultimate goal is to have these ladies feel comfortable going and playing with other people. Like, we're not trying to segregate like male and female by any means. Like, we want everyone to just have a good time playing the game together. So if they meet like a bunch of, really cool people from these clans, then all the better. Like, I hope they feel comfortable playing with them too, as well as.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on PvP post Beyond Light? Now that we're here, like, I know. Oh man. So the new abilities have brought some new possibilities, especially when it came to trials, and we haven't seen that will be coming later on this month, correct? I think it was the 28th.
Until the
Something
next
like
bug
that.
pops up,
Yeah.
Yeah. But they so yeah, we'll see trials coming back. How do you feel about the state of PvP, whether it's in the comp or the quick play playlists, and where do you see like the meta going overall?
I'm going to start with a little bit of positivity because I know everyone goes straight negative every single time. I'm glad that there's something new. I'm glad that there's something to adapt to, but holy crap, is it annoying. It's very annoying. But I don't know. It feels very rewarding when you outplay it, though. It feels so rewarding. More rewarding than before Beyond Light when you outplayed someone. It's fun to play it too. I was playing the Broken Titan last night and having a lot of fun. It's so broken.
Yes.
It's very fun.
I'll try to start with something positive too. Balance-wise, as far as weapons go, I actually think this might be one of the best DLCs. I really think they actually kind of like nailed it on the head with. I was really nervous about hand cannon changes when they said they're going to make everything 140s and all that stuff. But I'm actually like really enjoying how gunplay feels right now.
Yeah.
The sad part is I don't get in a lot of gunfights because there are so many abilities on the field at the moment. And as far as trials goes, the meta is 100% going to be Stasis because the only way to outplay Stasis is to freeze them first.
Yeah.
So I think the meta is just going to be high strength, discipline, intellect builds and just spamming as much slowing and freezing things that you can because it's really like all you've got.
Yeah.
But it is fun. Like, I will agree, it's fun. It's definitely fun to mess around with. Like, I enjoy going into quick play and just running around, throwing freezing stuff at people. But
yeah,
I played Crucible for my powerful rewards in order to be raid ready day one, and I have not touched it since then.
Yeah.
Within the first match that I played, I queued into a match already in progress. I got frozen 3 times off spawn. So it was like, I think a minute and a half before I could even move in the match, before I was even able to take a step forward. And I was like, this was before a lot of the changes that were made, but I was like, this just isn't for me at this point. I'm a very mid-range, I will fight you player. Vixin knows firsthand. So like none of this style of play fits how I enjoy playing the Crucible, and it takes almost every advantage that I have as a player out. I'm just not disciplined enough to know that I can't engage. Like I'm not going to keep track of who used their ability in the last, not know that somebody else has it. The very second I turn the corner, I'm frozen again. So thank God the raid has been so amazing, because that's just, again, it's all I've done. I have no interest. I have no desire. I don't know if I didn't play a lot at the end of the last season either. I don't know if I'm just like burnt out. And I think Foxy touched on it, because the guns are probably the best balance that we've ever seen. And I can't enjoy that. And this, and if this game wasn't such a satisfying shooter, it wouldn't matter. But still no other game that you play compares to how these weapons feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Primary
they
feels so good right now.
so good. And they're not going to get a chance to shine. And I think that's by design. This is a space fantasy shooter. Probably not the best thing for primary weapons to be in the best spot, because special weapons are going to be the ones most people go to the fastest time to kill. Movement and abilities are next up, and that's what the main focus is on right now. So I don't see that changing. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you know, I'm more of a PvE guy, and so like I literally just hop in and get my pinnacle rewards. That's it. Today I had a lot of fun. The new Hopscotch Pilgrim-esque pulse rifle that you get. I think it's called Stars and Shadow.
Oh
really-
my gosh.
I enjoyed using that off the top. Like off the top, is that like a meme? am I
Oh, okay. I only say that because I got an outlaw kill clip roll on that, and
Yeah.
it 1.5 bursts, and it's disgusting.
Oh yeah, it's
so-
gross.
But it's fun. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, it was. What weapons do you guys see kind of rising to the top in this outside of ability play?
For ourselves or for other people?
Yeah, for yourselves, for other people, however you wish.
I'm still running Dire, and I switched to Adored from Beloved. I'm still sniping.
Mm-hmm.
Sniping was a little disheartening at first, but I'm getting back into it. And
Mhm.
then for everybody else, I'm seeing still auto meta, and then I think posterity. I'm seeing a lot of people use posterity and a lot of the raid weapons now. I guess because they're getting all of them now. But
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The raid weapons are
Yeah.
just cool. Like, I don't know if they're any
Yeah.
good
They
in
look
Crucible,
cool,
but they're
yeah.
just so freaking cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
the design's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hand cannon is really cool. I really wish it was a 140, so I'd actually want to use it. But
I know the fact it's the 180. It's fun in PvE for what it's worth. At least it's somewhat fun on strikes, but
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of pulse rifles.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of No Time to Explain, which is understandable because it's a really good pulse. Definitely seen some Stars and Shadow. Still a lot of autos. I have seen, I feel like a decent amount of hand cannons, and I feel like part of that is because a lot of them are more usable now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Like
ace.
Ace is nice.
Ace
The
and Thorn.
range, the range on like Rose and Waking Vigil and stuff like that actually feel really nice. Like they feel super crisp and snappy. So it's kind of nice to have a variety, like personally, to use. I mean, hand cannons are always going to be my favorite weapons. Like I enjoy throwing out a pulse rifle or something like that for fun, or like an MG. If I'm just going to be in quick play, but yeah, being able to use all the different hand cannons now and still having a fighting chance range wise has been
Yeah.
nice.
Well, that kind of leads into something else. We had I think Sony dropped too early an advertisement for a
Yeah.
soon-to-be exotic hand cannon returning to the game, or for the first time in Destiny 2, but returning to Destiny franchise as a whole. Hawkmoon will be returning at some point. So,
Mhm.
what are you? I think what was the perk? I think it was Paracausal Bullet. It was like the last bullet in the mag.
Mhm.
Did extra
They
damage.
gave a hand cannon final round.
Yeah. So how
Not exactly the Hawkmoon purist's favorite idea, I
Yeah.
think, of the weapon, but we, as an Xbox player, never got to experience what Hawkmoon could truly do because they changed it by the time they gave it to us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think Sony got in a little bit of trouble for that. But how much of a difference could it really make, do you think?
Do you remember D1 when you started rounds and you hear people popping off the final
Oh,
round shots on
yeah. I
snipers?
remember getting
You're gonna hear
bagged
the
after
same
getting
thing.
bodied by that. Yes.
You're gonna hear
yes,
the
I
same
do.
thing for Hawkmoon. The round's gonna start. You're gonna hear shots popping off so they can get the final round.
But if you miss
Oh
one, you're
my
like,
gosh.
is it gonna two shot? Is that the idea? Is that you'll two tap? I don't know if we saw damage numbers or not. I haven't seen anything. I've been
Mhm.
working. I literally haven't seen anything regarding it. But I don't know how that would be a strat to like really put you at disadvantage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess if you don't if you don't hit all your shots, then you're kind of,
Yeah.
unless you're a
SOL.
hunter, you could just dodge.
Literally
or
run,
a
yeah.
warlock.
Or a Titan with that slide.
Or a Titan on the slide. Yeah, everyone has mobility these days. I think it'll be fun. I never got to use Hawkmoon in D1, so I'm kind of excited just to use it. I'm also glad that they didn't bring back Luck in the Chamber personally, because with the way that registration is right now in the game, if I didn't know if I was being damage glitched or if I was getting bonus damage from a random bullet, I think I might lose my mind. But it'll definitely be interesting. I'm not sure. Like, I'm curious to see how they're gonna do it. Like, I wonder if it's gonna be like actually last bullet in the magazine, or if it might be something where it's like you could like 2-head 1 body or something like that. I don't know. Like every 3 you get like a slight bonus or something like that. That'd be
Yeah, I
kind of
hope you
cool.
have to proc it and not just empty the magazine to it. I mean, people in chat are saying
Yeah.
in the video they were overshielded because they had just spawned and it was a one shot to the body that killed them, which would blow my mind if that. Actually, you know what? That would just fit everything that goes on in this game in Crucible anyway. Let's be honest. That would just be par for the course at this point. So sure, whatever.
Yeah. What would you like to see in PvP that would like? What would be the better balance of abilities to gunplay overall? What would you like to see as alternatives to super play or ability?
In regard to Stasis specifically, or like overall?
In regard to Stasis specifically, I know like the light supers. I went in with a bubble today, and had a hunter. You'd use Blade Barrage on me, but I don't think they knew that they should hit me inside the bubble, or I don't know. But they it's pretty clear that the stasis abilities are more utilitarian overall, since you can like mix and match them a little bit more. What would you like to see off-put them ability wise? Like attuned to light supers, or?
I personally think like they should make some more changes to Stasis specifically. Instead, like I would rather them bring Stasis down a little bit than bringing the other supers up. I think it would be nice if nothing but the supers froze you. Everything else was just some sort of like slowing thing like that. I also think it would be nice if they're going to keep the freezing in, if they could give you wall hacks when you freeze someone. Maybe like a sound cue or something different to let you know that someone's frozen, instead of literally just a wall hack. But I think those would be some like nice changes just to bring it down a little bit, to see where it would be at in regard to other supers. Because I mean, from the end of last season, I feel like people were already talking about in like the competitive community, I guess anyway, like people were talking about like tuning Dawnblade a little bit and things like that, because I know some people thought it was a little overpowered, and in regard to the other supers, not super, but if you look at it compared to other supers, it could be a little bit stronger for sure. I kind of also wish they would find a way to keep the Titan movement like that in the game, and just like I wish they would just make that the baseline movement for all the subclasses, because everyone always talks about how movement is the biggest skill gap in this game, and it is. But until now, with the Stasis Titan movement, they kind of just drop Titans. Like I feel like they kind of said screw Titans in regard to movement until they released Stasis. So I wish they would like just make that a baseline, just increase movement, like make there a little bit of a skill gap there, and reduce some of the power on the abilities. But that's my opinion.
It's like Hunter Super still takes 8 years to get to use. Like it's almost the same thing for Tether, where the animation takes so long that by the time you actually use it, anybody who's got a really good sense is going to be able to get away. And plus that tornado moves like a millimeter an hour in Crucible. So it's not like, you know, a Dreg is just going to be like, what's that? But like very few players are going to walk face first into that thing.
I'm gonna throw my blueberries.
Yeah.
I watched it yesterday.
The Titan movement thing is strange because it gives you insane movement, but I feel like aiming it is sometimes difficult, where like
Mhm.
I'll be aimed at somebody, and I'll either shortstop or I'll go past them instead of
Mhm.
actually land. It's the opposite of what shoulder charge is, where like shoulder charge will literally do everything for you, but this one does nothing for you, and it almost moves so fast that it's hard for at least me to keep up with where I'm going to end up by the time I'm done. Plus, when you proc it almost immediately, like sometimes I proc it not even knowing that I procced it. Like, how did I just end up here? I just like hit the
Mhm.
melee button, and all of a sudden I'm 80 yards to the right or whatever. So there's a couple like little kinks to move out. I haven't even touched my warlock yet. My warlock hasn't even played the game this season, so I don't know what to do about that nonsense that is that character, other than the fact that it feels like it takes a million bullets to kill it. If you don't snipe it in the head, I feel like it lives forever.
Yeah, I keep getting killed by. I kept getting killed by Gandalfs today, just like
Yes.
zapping me, freezing me. I will give them credit. They did take the freezing down, a little bit,
Mhm.
just overall in PvE and in PvP, and I feel like it's a good like mix. Now, whereas before it punished you way too much, way too hard for getting even touched by a freezing ability in PvP or PvE. So I don't know. Well, any other thoughts or on PvP as a whole, or what what you'd like to see? Or actually, never mind. You guys have tournaments on, or you guys play each other on Wednesdays. Are there any weapons that you specifically lock out, and why?
We have a whole rule set that kind of has different weapons and exotics. We got rules that we kind of try to keep it where it's a little bit more enjoyable. I think we do allow stasis, but without the aspects, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. There's certain weapons that we are allowing that other people don't allow. And we're just kind of like trying to play with it and see what we think is enjoyable. Because we don't want to completely get rid of everything, but we do want to make it to where you want to come play with us.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
What's a weapon that you guys allow that wouldn't be on normal sweats lists, for example?
Luminarch is
yeah.
one.
Dan, you can play.
I would love to play. That would be awesome.
That's your bow, dude.
That's my BB. You said the name of my BB, and now I'm down. I'm ready.
All right, we'll get you in next Wednesday.
All right, sounds good.
Do you lock out other weapons in combination of that? Like if you run the Monarch, you're not allowed to run a hand cannon or a SMG with it, for example. So you can't just.
Oh, sorry. We consider bows a sniper. So if you have a
Mhm.
bow, then you can't run another sniper.
Mhm.
Okay, fair.
Same with Arianas. We allow Arianas, but it takes the place of a sniper.
But if you ran Ariana's or the bow, you could still shoot that and then switch to a hand cannon and one shot to the body. Correct?
Yeah, just
Okay.
like body shotting with a normal sniper.
Mhm. Yeah, I think. I mean, we allow like right now we have Cloud Strike and No Time to Explain and Vigilance Wing allowed, which I'm pretty sure are banned on several other Scrim rule sets. But I know a lot of people like to use them, especially since two of them are new. I totally understand. So we try to find that balance of like what's enjoyable and also not extremely annoying to play against.
Awesome. All right. Well, any other thoughts on PvP? Somebody in chat said Cloud Strike.
Oh, it's good for if you want a 6-piece right off the
Yeah.
rip, especially on Endless Veil when they're all sitting at the bottom. Just shoot straight across. We'll get all of them.
So
Going back into like stasis, I agree with what Fox said as far as like freezing not being with the abilities. Um, or if they make it so you can defend yourself, if at least like you can shoot back when you're frozen.
yeah,
Like when the shuriken's thrown, you can shoot back at least. But I think for grenades and things like that, it needs to be tuned down a bit where it's not grenades. I think supers are fine. Take it away from abilities and grenades.
yeah, that field
Do you
grenade is bonkers.
Which
And-
is that the one that Warlocks got right away? Like, didn't all three characters get the 3 different grenades to start with, or did the Warlock? Because I know.
Everybody gets the wall off the bat.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, because I think I just unlocked this second grenade like 2 days ago because I didn't feel like running whatever it took to do it. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But do you think it would take a ground up reconstruction of that for them to make a change? Like that doesn't seem like it'd be an easy change for Bungie to make. You know what I mean?
I try to be understanding because I get that they're doing this all from home right now, but I don't know. At first, especially with warlocks, it was very frustrating,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like if it's little things like that that can make changes to it, then it shouldn't be ground up. It should be just tuning back numbers a little bit like they did with warlocks off the bat.
I mean, if you're going to change the freeze to allow you to fight back kind of thing, like, do you think that would be a fundamental hard coded?
Well, if they to me, I've never developed a game in my life, but to me, if the shurikens can do it, or if the void smoke bombs do it, I
Mhm.
feel like it should be easy to just apply it to the other grenades. But that's just me. I've never developed a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I don't know exactly how difficult it would be. I don't feel like it would be a ground up reconstruction of Stasis, but it may be a little more difficult than, us just saying like fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feel like at face value, it feels like it'd be more than like a patch. In other words,
Yeah.
it feels like it would be
Yeah.
if they were going to make a change like that, it would be like a season later kind of thing
Mhm.
in order to have the time that they would need to make sure that it worked appropriately. I mean, obviously this year is a little bit different. There's way more bugs than I think any of us are used to seeing, and I think
Mhm.
rightfully so. Especially with the new Atrax one, or well, I should newish Atrax one, where you could like literally phase in behind him and kill him before.
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet. I actually want to see some footage because it sounds like it's pretty neat, but I don't know. That's because he was such a bastard on day one.
He wasn't pain in the ass. That was my first day one experience, and I just remember we were doing Atrax, and I was like, "Are we supposed to be doing this little damage?" I was like, "This feels literally futile." Like
We
I just
were-
see the bar like go like this, and then hop back
Yeah.
up. I was like, "Like why am I even playing?"
We were so backwards on the thought process for the first like 2 hours we were in there. We had everything all wrong. We didn't realize that it was just right there in front of us. You just kick his ass. Like that's all there was to it. We're like, do we do more damage when we shoot out the things out the side? Like what's going on? What is we actually doing? It's a damage phase. Like it took forever for us to realize, no, dude, you're just supposed to just
Attack him.
hit him as hard as you can. Yep.
Mhm.
Took us way too long to figure that out. But yeah, he deserves to die behind the glass a few times if you ask me.
Oh man, I keep calling that the alien encounter whenever I'm teaching it, just because like it's gonna replicate and you're gonna suck something out of an airlock. It's gonna be fine. It's exactly like the movie, kind of ish. So
They look kind of similar too, I guess.
yeah, just
They're
little bit,
missing a
right?
few tentacles, but other than that,
And the exoskeleton.
yeah.
But yeah, so in the TWAB this week, making a smooth transition, we saw a little bit of news specifically about the raids. They said this week at Bungie, we prepare for next gen. It's been it's been a while since we last spoke. I mean, it hasn't been too long. We took a quick break off for the holiday, but we're back on the grind. They continue. Quite a few of you have been asking about raid statistics. It's always fun seeing how many players took to the challenge for completion during the first week. We dug through our databases and found some fun stats to share, and we're happily surprised by how many of you completed your first ever jacket quest. So for day one stats, they broke down the three main raids that we have currently. For unique raid activity clears, Last Wish had 4 on day one. Garden of Salvation had 551. And Deep Stone Crypt had 29,814. And then Launch with the 10 plus day stats. Overall, for unique raid activity clears, that's what we'll cover here. Last Wish had 3,555. Garden of Salvation had 33,152. And Deep Stone Crypt had 258,049, which is pretty bonkers. I think this raid is super accessible in a way that Last Wish and Garden of Salvation maybe seem that they aren't right out the gate. And so
The Last Wish's power grind was absurd.
yeah.
the power level grind, even B raid accessible, was nuts. And the raid itself, when no one knew the shortcuts for big Ahamkara creature, what the hell's its name?
Riven?
Riven?
That's it.
Yeah.
No one knew that you could just cheese Riven either. So that encounter is insane
Mm-hmm.
if you want to do it legit, you know? So like that all adds up. Garden of Salvation was the first version of contest mode, or was it the second? Did Last Wish have contest? I think Last Wish did have contest.
Yeah, because that's where the 2402 comes from, right?
Right.
Shadow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Garden was a bit harder. This one didn't feel like you had to be max level to do it at all. I mean, like I said, we took Princess Goose at 12-14 through, no problem after contest mode had expired. So this is hands down more accessible. This is not, I mean, they're going to call it endgame content, but this doesn't really give you the feel of endgame challenge, I think is what I would say. And I hope I don't get slaughtered for saying that, because once you know what you're doing, it's really not all that difficult. I think the learning curve might be a little bit high, but once you're in there doing it, it doesn't seem to be as difficult to grasp the concept as it was some of the other raids,
right,
for various reasons. So I'm not surprised. I think it's a good thing. I'm happy that so many people are getting this raid parka. It's a parka. It's not a jacket. That's a parka.
that you get in July.
That's meant for extreme cold. Yeah, yeah. It'll get delivered in like August or something. Sure, but I think all of these are good. Plus, everything that goes from the Bungie store goes to charity. You know what I mean? So more jackets that are out there being sold, the better it is for everybody.
Heck yeah. And as a correction, Business Goose in chat says Crown of Sorrow was the first that had contest on it.
That was also brutal because that was 6 hours before it went live. That was Crown was nuts. That was a day one raid experience I'll never do again because it was 6 hours of grinding before the raid even went live. So you're already 6 hours in before that was awful.
Yeah. And it like I enjoyed the grind up to Deep Stone Crypt. I didn't take days off like a lot of folks did. And
didn't have to.
Didn't have to. Yeah, exactly. I could pretty much get up to speed in the time period given before the raid, which was great without having to be like a content creator that maybe was on the clock the entire time or something along those lines. But I had a really fun time doing that. I like the grind so far in Beyond Light. I'm hoping that in the future they kind of tune a couple of things. But other than that, I'm overall pretty pleased with how Beyond Light allows you to grow. What are your thoughts, Vixin or Foxy?
I liked it a lot too. I didn't really have a problem either. I know there was a big stink about contest mode and whatnot on this raid, but I thought it was still a challenge. Like, no, it wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done in Destiny, but it was still a challenge. Felt rewarding to complete for sure on day one. And I definitely think I think it's nice that they gave people that extra time to grind for sure. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, the more people you have that feel like they have the ability to grind something in the game, you know, the player base is just going to rise in numbers. That's nothing but good for Bungie. And it's also just nice as a player to feel like you can actually have a hope of completing something, because that was definitely a reason why I never even thought about going for a day one in the past, because you know, I'm not glad. I can't play all day every day. You know, a lot of people have jobs and stuff, and this is a hobby, so that was definitely enjoyable. And I've liked the storyline and stuff. I think it's cool that they brought the stranger, and they're starting to tie some ends up, and also ask some cool questions all this. Definitely still a lot to be answered, but it's nice to feel. I think this is the first time since Forsaken that I felt somewhat invested in the story, I think, which is definitely fun.
Heck yeah. What about you, Vixin?
I didn't get to day one. I was out of town for that, but from whatever I saw on Twitter and just being talked about amongst friends who did day one, it seems like everybody enjoyed it. And I don't I've never done any other day ones either. But playing it after, it actually I did do garden day one,
Mhm.
and that was pretty difficult. I don't know. I feel like it's more enjoyable, and the more people that play it, like Fox said, it's better for Bungie. It makes you want to play it. It makes you want to keep playing it.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Um, that was about the extent of that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how many day ones you guys had done. So, Foxy, you said this was your first
Yeah,
day
Deep
one
Stone was my first.
experience, and how was that for you? If you like, I know you're used to long gaming sessions as broadcasters, as content creators. We're used to being in our chair for a while. So, like, what was that physically and mentally like for you? How long did it take you guys to get to clear, and how were you feeling by the time it was over?
I think we were 12 hours. It was a blast, honestly. I had like so much fun. I think that was the most fun I've had playing PvE, pretty much ever. I just did it with some clanmates who are also like, we've just been really good friends for a while now. So it's just like playing with the homies, I guess. Like I had a really good time, honestly. I've always loved like puzzles and stuff like that. So figuring it out with them and doing that as a team, I think that's why I enjoy the team aspect of it so much, because I don't think I'm ever going to be like a PvE or raid help type content creator.
Mhm.
I don't really have the patience, or I don't explain that stuff like I feel eloquently enough for people to understand either. So I look at it from like a full team aspect, like getting everyone involved, and I had a blast. Like everyone on our team was important, everyone had a role, and it was just super fun.
You think you're going to do another one?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd really like to.
Mhm.
And Vixen, you did garden day one.
Yes.
You're out of town for this time around. Do you see yourself trying to take part in something like that in the future?
I would. Just because I've enjoyed this raid so much, and my hopes would be that Bungie would continue with this type of raid. I don't know what makes it as the best raid that I've ever played, but Vault of Glass used to be my favorite, but this one's kind of creeping up there above
Yeah.
Vault of Glass. just a
Oh,
little
you're
bit.
lucky.
Isn't
You're
that our
lucky
next
this
one?
year. We're getting Vault
Isn't
of
that our
Glass
next one?
soon. Yeah.
Vault of Glass is coming back, and there's rumors. I'm hesitant about this, but there's rumors that the weapon pool is going to come back as well, and rightfully so.
I
But
heard that it was going to be different.
people keep saying that they know about Fatebringer coming back, is what they're saying on the internet.
Yeah.
No one lies
On
on
the
the
internet.
internet. No, it's true.
I saw it in somebody's
I'd
mentions
be
once.
concerned though, because like, so the raid scout rifle from Deep Stone Crypt is actually nuts.
Mhm.
And I haven't had a scout rifle that I've enjoyed using basically since Vision of Confluence,
Right.
which is
Ooh,
the
yeah.
original Vault of Glass scout rifle. And so Fatebringer, with hand cannons being where they are, especially in PvE, where like 140s don't even one-tap red bars. Like, if Fatebringer comes back in the current sandbox, it's not going to be great. I don't want to have Fatebringer and not be able to one-shot a Dreg.
Right.
That makes sense? Like, we're not like you're able to one-shot goblins and hobgoblins in Vault of Glass and like have the explosion and do damage, and the big thing that comes to mind is defending the confluxes, because that was such a pain in the ass, and like there was no reward for it. It's probably one of the hardest encounters in any raid ever, by the assault of Vex that were coming at you, and you didn't get anything for it, but that gun was so crucial in doing that. And like, if it doesn't play the way that it did, bringing it back is almost a mistake in my mind. So I'd like to hear, I mean, you brought up Vault of Glass, so Vixen, like, what do you think?
I hope that they bring it back the way, like you said. I don't know. I hope that it can come back from its former glory, but there's so many changes that makes Destiny 2 just slightly different from Destiny
Mhm.
1 that I just don't know if it's going to be the same thing that I loved, and that always makes me nervous. Like I really loved Vault of Glass. I was more PvE based in D1, so I played that raid to the ground. So it'd be hopeful that it would feel the same, but I'm not sure if it will,
Like,
just the way D2 is.
Just think about how different mantling and
Mhm.
how that
Oh, yeah.
would change the way you played Vault of Glass the first time. Like, how many times have I not fallen off the map?
Yeah.
Hundreds? Thousands? I don't know. It just that in of itself is such a drastic change, obviously for the better. But I'm hoping that if they do bring this weapon pool back, that it can perform the same way that it did, because I think it'd be a mistake if it didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this will be your first time through Vault, Foxy. I don't think.
Yeah.
You
I
played
didn't-
P1, but at the very end, did you ever run a Vault? I don't know. Could you even run a Vault at the end? I guess you
Yeah,
could.
you
maybe.
could because of the
Ages of Triumph
Yeah,
or Triumph of Ages or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never did Vault. I did Crota. That was it. That was the only.
The Strike of Crota.
Yeah,
There's
that's all I've
also-
done. And I didn't get to use Fatebringer in D1, but I do feel like I agree 140s could definitely use a little bit of love in PvE for sure. But if they bring it back as a 120, 120s are kind of nuts right now.
Yeah.
I know they're decently effective in PvE, and in PvP they're crazy. So if they do bring it back and it's a 120, it might be pretty decent.
A little overflow rampage action, maybe.
Oh,
That's
dear
even all
Lord.
you can get. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
that
cool
would be
with
nice
that.
in PvE.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only-
Something about using hand cannons that are rewarding, like the ability to efficiently kill and move on to your next target was
Mhm.
so crucial, especially if you were helping people out in Vault. And I feel like that's something that's kind of missing. Like, yeah, I can gun things down with an AR, and my current gun for Deep Stone Crypt is the 7 Seraph AR.
Mhm.
I think it's even called a 7 Seraph assault rifle or something like that. I don't even know if it has a name, but like, I'd like to get back to using hand cannons again in PvE. It feels like it'd be really, really fun. Maybe I should give it a shot. I don't know. I got the raid one. Maybe I'll try that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'd have to
the
take
7
it
Seraph
first and last
carbine.
out off. That ain't gonna happen. No, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I run our whole raids with Dire. You can do it. I don't take off my PvP gear.
Adored, Dire and Lament, or
Adored stays on.
out here sniping the shotgun.
I'm a
vandals
tractor
and everything.
main, so it's Dire,
Okay.
Tractor, and Adored.
I love
Nice.
tractor. My kill count on my tractor before I retired, it was over 1,000 in Crucible. That's a silly gun.
It's so
Yeah.
satisfying with Stasis. That's all I'm gonna say. It's so satisfying.
I didn't even think about that.
I
I
didn't either.
named myself the Party Crasher.
That's so good.
That's cool. I'm down with that.
Oh, I said invite only. When it comes to like Vault of Glass, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but I think it bears repeating. Seeing how they changed the strike on the Cosmodrome.
The fake Magul or whatever.
Yeah,
the
fake
nickname
Nagul.
is, yeah.
So she like the way that they changed that, it would stand to reason that maybe they might change like Vault of Glass in kind of the same way, especially if we
Mhm.
don't get Venus back. If it was like some sort of Clovis Bray AI.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. They'd have to give us a
Station.
whole
Yeah, like
planet.
virtual reality thing. Like as Guardians, we're gonna put the VR sets on
Yeah.
and go into Vault that way. And I guarantee you, Atheon's gonna have a floor.
Yeah.
If anything's gonna change, they're gonna put floors the entire way throughout the Atheon encounter. There's gonna be nowhere to drop it anymore.
All new
I
laminate.
didn't even think about that.
all new hardwoods.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just something that we were thinking about last week. Where it's like, how could they change it? Like, other than adding champions, which they did.
Oh,
Overlords that don't stagger. Those ones.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
Jesus, chasing them, teleporting dudes around.
as much as I'm excited for it to come back, I don't know if I am because it's just gonna feel so different from.
Mhm.
Like, I just don't know if it's gonna feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
And bringing up the fact that we don't have Venus just made me question,
so
like, how are we
sorry.
gonna do this?
I'm so sorry. I didn't
I'm gonna think about this all night.
I want the Ishtar Collective back, if anything. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that library was so cool. I just want to be there. But can somebody answer this? Can spoil it for me if you have to.
Okay.
Do we ever fight this giant AI robot face?
Uh,
Every time I go visit him, I'm just waiting for the robots to turn on me and start firing out rockets at me, and him to get his body and become Oryx and just stomp around and like try and like punch me or something.
no.
And every time I go there, it doesn't happen. I feel let down. You
Mm-mm.
know?
No, he just gets to trash talk you and then you leave.
Mhm. Someone in chat
Missed
last week
opportunity.
recommended that maybe he has like tiny little legs. So he's just like, so he's got like a giant head, but like
Giant head.
tiny little legs.
Like a
And that's it.
T-Rex.
Yeah, kind of like that.
All right, maybe that's the alternative that would make it okay
Yeah.
for us not fighting him. Yeah, I could see Clovis being interwoven, or the Vex creating another gate. You know what Bungie would do is they would fix that one portal right before you go into the second to last encounter. I forget the name of the giant Hydra boss or whatever. Remember, there was that one gate that was off in the distance that everyone was like, "That's the gate to the 8th chest or whatever chest." Like, it never worked. I could just see them phasing something like that, some kind of portal, some Vex area on Europa that has been converted to become the next gate to get into it.
What if they open another Vex portal on the moon? Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Because they did like all that like portal stuff on the moon with the Vex and all that. I could definitely see them maybe trying to do something with that again.
I forgot the moon existed until you just said
it. It is a thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah, I forgot.
There's not much reason to go back there, but yeah, it does exist.
Oh, waves on waves, dude. Of course, my 8 billion completions of that triumph.
On waves.
Oh my god.
Moving forward with the TWAB, they talked about the Lightkeepers charity update. At the time that they wrote this, they had 450,000 going in the first week. Game to Give at time of recording has $880,000 raised out of their $2 million goal. Congratulations, community. The next goal that they have is 1 million. They're going to reveal the Dawning 2020 Legendary Reward preview. What do you guys think is coming this time around? At all, possibly.
I have no idea.
I don't know what the Dawning is.
Yeah.
Or I was supposed to know
Isn't
what
that
Dawning
when we make cookies?
That's when you make cookies.
That's all I know.
Now, will we have to make cookies for everybody new?
We're gonna have to make cookies for Clovis's AI, and that's when he's gonna turn into the T-Rex dude.
His tiny little arms are gonna come out and grab the plate.
Yes.
And then just scarf it in.
We've got it, dude.
That is wonderful.
For Bungie.
Yeah,
we should be so much fun.
Bungie.
Wasn't the weapon leak?
Was it?
I feel like I saw a picture of a fusion rifle. Did I not? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? I could have sworn I saw a picture of a fusion rifle, and it definitely looked like it was Dawning-esque.
Oh.
And I don't know if that was something they posted or if that was leaked. I'm not sure. So if I just spoiled it for anyone, I'm sorry.
Tell me that there's another version of the Air until coming down the pipeline, and I would normally say that that's a bad thing for the PvP community, but I don't play anymore, so they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Landfell confirms she's right. It's reworked a rental.
Oh no.
Lord have mercy.
Oh,
are you about to play Dawning?
No.
Laura? No.
I retired. The kill count on my gun stopped at 36,790 something. 96.
I was like 56 of those in one match. First time I met him.
What if it was 56? That was when Tether was working appropriately too and distributed the damage across everyone who was tethered, which also made things difficult for people. But all that's gone now.
I also had to walk uphill both ways to and from school.
Back in my day!
Oh, don't forget the snow.
And Stasis.
I've been trying to get an Aletha that could roll the same way, because Aletha and Arentil perform the same way. And Stasis makes charging a fusion rifle basically a death sentence. You're just, before you can get your shot off, you're already dead. So I've basically swapped to Titan and a shotgun. If I'm going to play Crucible, I'm just going to zoom around, plus mouse and keyboard. It's rather difficult to use. It's not insanely difficult, but it's more challenging to use it on mouse and keyboard when you have ADS, slide, punch, and everything all on your mouse. Like I got to hit like 8 buttons at the same time to function properly, versus on the controller it's on 2 separate hands. So
I was gonna say the only fusion rifle I really see people using is Telesto, and they're using the suction nade that pulls everybody into it. So they just spray the floor and just suction everybody into it.
Yeah.
I'm a dick, but I'm not that big dick, you know what I mean?
I have also been sucked and then bastioned from like 40 meters away, so that's also fun.
2 fusion rifles I never used. Never used
Oh.
Telestone and never used Bastion.
Bastion's
I wanna see
nuts. If you
confirmation
like
on those
Fusion, I
numbers.
like Bastion.
Bastion was the thing that I really hated about it was everyone would be like, you don't have to aim to use a fusion rifle, but if you're not center mass, you're not going to get a kill.
Mm-hmm.
And Bastion took all that away to the point where like you could hit somebody's toenail and you did 210 damage or some absurd number
Yeah.
on one of the bolts, and there's 3 of them. So like that started to drive me a little bit the wrong way. Plus, I'm so like married to the 820 charge rate on mine that anything that is not 820 would either fire too soon or too late for the way that I played. There's something about accelerated coils on that particular role that made me able to play my style. And I'm very bad at, I mean, I'm 38 years old. I ain't changing much anymore. So it's really hard for me to adapt.
I heard Bastion does some nutty things to Taniks.
Oh,
With the divinity, or was it divinity, or I think it was either divinity or tractor. It seems
I'm into killing them a bunch of different ways. I mean, that fight is super fun for me. So I'm down to experiment. I want to do the Glad challenge where you take them the final stand from full health and just go nuts.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's just last damage phase for the entire time. So that looked like a lot of fun. I want to give that a shot too.
heck yeah.
I've become a PvE sweat for the first time since Vault of Glass, honestly. And that's only pertaining to the raid. I could give a shit about
The
Nightfall.
rest about
Yeah.
Monster Hunter,
Wrath
Destiny
hunts
2?
and
yeah.
Wraithborn hunts or whatever that I don't even know what the seasonal content is. I don't
wow.
I haven't done that either. Not gonna lie, the whole like lure thing just didn't really interest me. Plus, I don't think. What do you even get out of it? I don't even know what it gives you.
there's a loot, there's an
Yeah.
armor and loot and weapon pool specific to Exo emo dude, whatever his name is.
to the crow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't done anything
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
So he's got weapons and armor that are exclusive to him. I've gotten one of the weapons. I didn't even fire a shot of it yet, but that's the extent. And apparently there's some pretty cool story and lore
Mm-hmm.
tied to it too. People are saying people have done it, have really enjoyed the conversation between themselves and the crow. But it goes back to: do you want to play Gambit? Do you want to play Crucible? Do you want to run strikes? Do you got to kill this thing with that
Yeah.
thing? Do you got to use a grenade? Do you got to use a grenade launcher against this boss at this particular moment on a Tuesday at
When the sun
7:30?
is high.
You're not going to get your triumph. And I'm like, I just want to turn my brain off and shoot aliens in the face. Like that's where I'm at right now, you know. And this season doesn't feel like it allows me to do that. I don't want to put brain power into this. It's just I have too much going on at work
Yeah.
to have to come home from
Yeah.
work and deal with, you know. I think Vixin, and I know what you do for a living, so I feel like you can kind of be on the same page with stuff like that, right? Like you don't want to pour extra hours into. Yeah.
No, that's what like last night I got on the Titan, realizing that I haven't unlocked the aspects for the Titan. I'm like, I don't have time to do this. Especially
Yeah.
for every single character. There's no way.
Right. I just finished that on my hunter, and then as I did it, the person I was in team chat with was like, "You ready to do it again?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, if you want to unlock it into the characters, you got to do all that all over again." I was like,
No, I don't.
"I'd be like, you know what? We're just gonna give it to you."
Yeah.
How to pay someone to do PvE.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's easy. You can find
Count
many
recovery
websites.
for aspects, dude. Oh my goodness.
They're
Business would be
fairly
booming.
expensive, but you
Yeah.
can find them.
Go to eBay real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh god. Your account's gone
You
forever.
you can find a PS5 cheaper in some cases. Returning to the banner is the next section in the TWAB this week. With the raid done and dusted, Lord Saladin will be ready to get Guardians back into the Iron Banner. This will be the first Iron Banner to feature stasis powers, so we're all excited for what's to come. I have a feeling that there was a wink in there. For any new lights out there, Iron Banner is a limited time 6v6 Crucible activity with power-enabled combat. While artifact power is disabled, you want to infuse and equip your most powerful gear before jumping in. They show that we're getting the scout rifle and the hand cannon from previously, or from, I think, the very first Iron Banner in D2 Year 1.
Is that Krimmel's dagger or no?
I think so.
I don't remember if there was 2 hand cannons or not. Krimmel's daggers was a 110. I think it's a 120, and there's a really good chance that it could be up there with the that future war cult one that's running amok right now. Can't remember the name of it.
True prophecy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
A steady
Jake's
hand.
saying steady hand. I
Yeah.
don't remember that at all, but I might have wiped year 1 from my memory.
Yeah. The scout, I mean, with scouts coming back the way that they have, I have used them a fair bit in PvP when I've played it. I don't remember if I don't know if there will be any rolls that'll pull the raid scout out of my hands though.
No, Raid Scout's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know about PvP, but even in PvE, the thing's insane.
I haven't used it yet. I haven't gotten a good enough roll. I feel like all my rolls have been throwaways.
It just sounds so cool, and and with it being full auto, like out the gate.
Yeah, and anything with reconstruction on it, when you take a scout rifle and you go from like 17 shots to 34, feels like it's a light machine gun at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using all my spoils of conquest trying to get the reconstruction recombination shoddy, and have yet to get it. So as soon as I get a god roll shoddy from the raid, I'll probably try to get a scout. But
yeah, we'll also be getting the gear from the first year's Iron Banner back now with an extra slot on the roll. How do you guys feel about how do you guys feel about Iron Banner? Do you play it when it comes around? Is it anything more than just like 4 extra pinnacles each year, or each
it's a
time it rolls
pain
around?
simulator. I mean, I always stayed away from it just because it's one of those game types where if you're soloing, you're guaranteed to run into stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks, and you just get mercied every single time. The loot pull this time around, I'm a little disappointed with it. I feel like we didn't get anything new, and I feel like in the past with different DLCs there were a lot of Iron Banner gear that was dropped, new at least. And so I'm a little disappointed with it. I don't know if I will play it necessarily because I'm a solo player 90% of the time. I may do it if I need to get some higher light gear, but that's about it.
I'll probably do it just because I have nothing else to do. I'll probably play it. I usually just play solo or like with one other person, and I feel like it's just for almost like the like small collectors bugging me. I'll just try to get a decent roll of both the weapons, do the quest, and that's about it. But I'm definitely a little disappointed with the armor set that they're bringing back. I would have rather them have brought back one of the cooler armor sets, I guess. Like the set with like the really cool ornaments would have been nice, because then would have grinded the armor set and the ornaments. And I almost would have rather them put more resources into making us like either a cool Iron Banner set that's brand new or a cool trial set that's brand new, instead of bringing vendor refreshes. Like honestly, I would have rather not had the vendor armor if we got 2 cool things there. So I kind of wish that was new also, but I'm still going to play it because it's PvP and I have nothing else to do. So
I don't see the value in the pinnacle reward hunt, and me not being a max level character. Like I don't, pinnacles just have no value to me at this point. I'm not into the 12 billion, solo, whatever they're called, all sectors. And then your Grandmaster Nightfalls that are coming on the pipeline. Like there's no drive for that. If they wanted me to play Iron Banner, they'd have to put a golf ball in the loot pool for your last bounty. Complete all 4 bounties, get a golf ball. Infusion fuel and builds at this point, which never really mattered to me before, actually seem to be more important now, especially with so much of the ability-driven content that we're being force-fed. So if there was true endgame stuff, not even farmable, like that would be a reason for me to try and get together and do it. But it's just Crucible just hasn't been fun, and I'd probably be more inclined to join up with scrims, and if I was going to play versus the general population. I don't see it being fun. It's fun with friends, but at that point, if I'm running with a 6 stack of my friends, like it's probably not that much fun for the people on the other side.
Yeah.
In most cases, when I'm the worst player on the team, usually the people on the other side are in some trouble. So
yeah, you could probably even that out by having a few drinks.
I have my grandfather's eggnog right here. I'm already done the glass though.
Oh, congratulations.
Hey man, my grandfather. Listen, dude, that's some good shit right there.
Hell yeah. Loading. So I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be doing Iron Banner next week. I do like the idea of the golf balls. Like if they made that a triumph, where for in the season category, where it's just like complete 4 or 6 of the weekly bounties for Iron Banner, and you get like 3 golf balls out of it.
One infusion material, right? Like I don't feel like that's asking for too much. Like these feel like commodities that are being held back from people. Like Bungie's like, see this, you can't have it. And it's like I don't understand why. Like what? Why is this of all things the hardest thing to come across in the game? You know what I mean? Like more people have these rare exotics than have ascendant shards. It's like
unless you buy it with materials, like
which they told us to get rid of. I'm so glad they did, by the way, because I got rid of all my planetary materials. Then I go to the gunsmith for an upgrade material, and I got to use the freaking Nessus material to do it. I'm like, you told me this stuff was going to be useless. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think we just had the year wrong. Anyways, next week we will see a new patch, and with it comes like some pretty sizable changes. Most of them for current gen consoles, I guess they are now, PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But a couple of things that really hit my that really pinged my radar. Prophecy's coming back on December 8th. The in-game activity is free to all players. Powerful rewards may be earned from each checkpoint once per week, and players may complete the dungeon once per week to obtain a pinnacle-powered reward. Previously featured weapon and armor rewards are available once more. So it sounds like we'll be getting the Trials of the 9 gear back in there, and we'll be getting probably another Huscow if you've been striving for that.
Yes.
It's such a missed opportunity for them not to put the Trials of the 9 gear in there. And Radaka had a question about that earlier, where he said, I've seen a lot of content creators pushing for the year 1 Trials of the 9 weapons to be reintroduced in Prophecy. What do you guys feel about that?
That pulse rifle is was one of the most dominant weapons in the game if you had it, and so few people had it, especially on PC. But I don't know if high rate of fire pulses are any good anymore. When they were, that thing was nuts. But that's the only one that stands out to me. I don't recall seeing anybody in recent memory using anything else in terms of weapons. Because at that point, there was only double primary, right?
Yeah.
So there was no, if there was a special weapon, it was a heavy weapon at that point. I don't even know if there was a trial shotgun or a trial sniper. I don't recall.
I want to say the scout was fairly good. But yeah, the darkest before that, that pulse rifle didn't leave my side, I think, until well after Forsaken. It was just that good in PvP, or I thought it was.
I think that loot ring brought back would be really cool. I'm like, I mean, obviously, as long as they don't bring anything just ridiculously broken, I'm like all for throw as much loot in the pool as possible, because everyone likes to run different things, and if there's something that a certain amount of the player base wants to grind for, then why not give them the ability to?
Heck yeah. And it also felt like they had kind of turned off the loot hose a little bit at the beginning of Beyond Light with what we were able to get, and then they patched it and they were like, hey, here's all the 7th Seraph weapons. It feels like just adding a few more things into the pool would kind of round it out more, but I don't know, I'm greedy in that regard. The next thing, we have the Destiny Companion app. Beginning next week, players may acquire bounties from Destiny 2 vendors using the Destiny Companion app while you're offline, in orbit, or in the tower. This will be introduced through a Companion app update, which is planned for December 8th. And stay tuned to Bungie help for more on this Companion app update. I know it's not going to be available for third-party community apps in the future, but that's a huge thing. That's something that's been asked for years in Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
very
I thought that
excited
was
for it.
cool. Mm-hmm.
I don't know where
With
I'm going to get
the-
all my really awful names if I don't go to the tower and pick up the bounties. Like, where am I going to see terrible, terrible names of people in the wild if I don't go to the tower first?
You can.
Especially specifically people in my area.
Mhm.
You know, these are people that might even be on my street with these terrible names.
How
You're
are
laughing, but it's
humans-
true.
I know.
When you live in the greater Philadelphia area, I probably know these people with these awful names.
I feel like it's given like a little, at least for what they did with the season pass, where you kind of like grind the up to a certain number.
Mhm.
I like that they did that. It's kind of given me this new thing to grind for because originally I was just playing PvP and that's all I did.
Yeah.
And now I actually grab bounties every single time and I turn them all in after. And if I forget to go grab them, which is such a hassle to go all the way back to the tower to
Yeah.
go grab
Mm-hmm.
because we're video game lazy. But like I don't know. It's like it's a nice little thing to have.
Yeah.
I don't have to go all the way back to the tower to go grab it.
Nice quality of life choice.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
The turkey and all has been a nice quality of life thing too.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. We also have New Light. They're going to be resolving some issues, with New Light and Monument of Lost Lights, collections. They're fixing a bug where where the UI would forget which page the player was on after previewing an item in collections. Have you guys run into that?
Yeah, when you're looking for shaders and stuff, and then you want to go back, and it sends you back to the rig. Yeah.
Oh yes.
That
Oh
was
my
so
goodness.
annoying. It wasn't like a huge thing, but it was so just like under my skin annoying. I was like, why is this
Let's see here. They said updated the mercy rule for control and clash to prevent it from triggering too early in the match.
Yes.
Fixed an issue where the survivor medal could not be awarded to players who were defeated during the round, and fixed an issue where untouchable medal could not be earned. So congratulations all you out there who will be getting those. The Beyond Light exotics are getting fixes. Necrotic Grip is getting a fix where if you are killed by the effects of Necrotic Grip, it would show as killed by architects. Fix a bug with Ice Mantle description where it did not mention the slow field it generates when activated. Mask of Bacchus, which is something that I saw for the first time today in Crucible, but then again, I've kind of been out of it for a week. Improve the readability of the visual effects when another player wearing Mask of Bacchus shifts directly towards you. They updated the description string to correctly describe its damage bonus, which applies only to combatants and affects all arc weapon damage and all damage against slowed or encased enemies. So additionally, they fixed an issue where the damage bonus was applying to players who were slowed or encased in Crucible and Gambit. So that's a lot of big work coming in.
Mhm.
What are you guys' thoughts on those changes?
Hooray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy about the mercy rule change because that's been really, really I understand maybe it needed a little bit of tweaking before, but what they had put in place I think was way worse.
Mm-hmm.
It just like would randomly cut you off in the middle of the match. Like as soon as you start getting momentum or you're like enjoying your time, it just resets the game, which was really bothersome to me. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that's getting fixed.
What about you, Vixen? What do you think? Did everybody freeze for me?
I don't think I froze. Did I freeze?
I think everybody froze for me for just a second. And
Hello?
okay.
No.
Are we back? I think we're back. Maybe?
Maybe.
It's not a Planet Destiny show without something
I was
going
standing
on.
still on purpose.
Ah! And then we're done. All right, now we're back. So, what about you, Vixen? How do you feel about these changes?
As a PvP player, I'm really looking forward to the oh my goodness, the mercy rule changes because the other day before they even announced this, I think I went into a game. I was a game in progress, and my team was getting mercy ruled, And
Mhm.
then that game ended, and I backed out, and I went back in. And then the next game, my team was getting mercy ruled again, and I was like, "This is
Nice.
great." I spend less time actually playing the game than I do.
Getting mercied.
Yes, like
Mhm.
my win ratio has gone down a lot, but um, that's and then as a hunter main, I haven't been really using the stasis, and I don't really see a problem with it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
too sure why it needs a change, but like there's other things that need changes. But they love nerfing hunters, so
Yeah.
why
with
not?
like with no like when they nerfed tether, I was like, who's saying that this was a problem when they gave it less
Yeah.
armor while you're casting it? I was like, who's surviving getting shot at all using tether right now? Because
They're
as the
literally a
only tether main in
target.
Crucible in existence, it's not me. So yeah, they whatever. The hunter stasis super might be the weakest out of the three.
It
So for
I
definitely
did
is.
play
yeah,
yesterday, and all of the tornadoes were going around in Wormhaven, and you could not enter the middle room.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like for that's for stasis and as well the tether. You're just kind of like a hanging target. So
Mm-hmm.
to drop that armor down on that, it doesn't really make sense.
and if you, God forbid, if you jump at all, your tether's in the ceiling. I
Mhm.
don't know if the stasis thing does the same thing where it just because I'm shooting a bow, but I'm not shooting a bow. I have a ball coming out of my body. Is what the super
Mhm.
actually is, a giant beach ball that I have generated. You know, even though it looks like I'm using a bow, I'm shooting a beach ball. And I don't know if the stasis super is the same way. I haven't stasis supered the walls in PvE yet. So, and I didn't. My hunter like literally didn't even play until after day one.
Mm-hmm.
I ran my Titan the whole way through. I ran comp to like 2100 or something. You get faster rewards less than 2100. So like I just grinded my Titan the entire way.
Hmm.
Mm.
I wish that Crucible list was a little bit longer on the TWAB, but
Yeah.
yeah, there are a couple changes they made that I feel like a lot of people were not happy with, and were kind of just like, why were you making changes to things that no one asked for? But
Yeah. They
I feel like
They
they
must
tend to
have
do that.
they must have data. They must
Yeah.
have a numbers thing more so than
Yeah.
anything else.
it could be a time and resource thing too, where it's just like these things are quicker fixes,
Yeah.
and so you hop
Yeah,
on those pretty
because
quick.
They
I
usually
think
communicate what's coming down the pipeline though. We
yeah.
know this is a problem, we can fix it by this date. You know, it might not be
Mm.
this Tuesday, but
Well, I think like the things that come to mind that I mean, obviously not everything is put on Twitter or Reddit,
Mhm.
but I don't remember seeing people necessarily complain about it was the lives change in comp. They changed it back to 6 lives. I thought that was interesting. Because I mean, the last I saw, people were like pretty satisfied with the 4 lives. No, comp
Mhm.
itself wasn't in the best spot, but I thought people were more happy with 4 than 6, because they had 6 in the past. And then the other thing that I was just kind of like head tilt on was some of the medals now that you get are given on assists, and I feel like it takes away the the rewarding feeling of some of them. Like I don't know how much comp you guys have played, but you get an annihilation now in comp for assists on all 3 team members, and it was like I remember the first time I got it, I was like, I didn't kill all 3 of them. Like I shot one kid in the toes, shotgun the other one, and then just helped with the last one. It gives you an annihilation medal. I was like, that doesn't feel as rewarding as before.
Mhm.
I wish they'd change some of those things back. That's where I'm just like, I wish I could see their data sometimes, because I'm like, I don't know who was complaining about that. I guess if people were, then that's fine, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Just with this year being what it is, and with them working from home, that's the only thing that I can think of, is that it would be just, we can fix this now, we can do it here, let's go ahead and push that out, and then hopefully we'll see some like PvP changes coming down the pike, especially when it comes to ability. But I don't know, unless it absolutely breaks the game, and which we've seen how quickly they go to cover those hoses up.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much the TWAB. So, are there any other news that you guys can think of? Is there any other news this week that you guys can think of?
Nope.
No.
Gotcha.
Really?
So we will move into the last section here, our question section. We have a few here gathered from chat, so we'll just go ahead and ask them and breeze on through. Gray Fox 2K30 asks, with Beyond Light about a month old and the season of the hunt in full swing, are we full on content to get new folks into D2?
That's a good question.
I don't think so, personally.
Mhm.
And I've seen several tweets about this where I was like, I wish there was more substantial things. Like, if the content drop was more substantial and there was a longer drought and then another really substantial, like, rewarding content drop, people would be happier than this, like, slow leak of
Seasonal.
unrewarding content, seasonal content. And that's kind of personally where I am too. I just really don't see someone who's new to Destiny like jumping on board and like getting hooked on the game for Wrath 4 hunts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think the original content that dropped for Beyond Light is really cool, but it's definitely not enough to keep people satisfied through the entire season, especially now that Trials just continues to be delayed and things like that. And the loot for it is the loot for Trials and Iron Banner, stuff like that is, you know, a reskin, I think. I just don't think it's enough to keep people that entertained throughout the rest of the season.
Is New Light still a thing? I don't know if it is or not.
Yes.
Yes.
It is?
Start
Okay.
on the Cosmodrome.
My aspect's going to come from, this is before Beyond Light. I had a lot of people come, or I tried to talk people into getting into Destiny. And so
Mhm.
they tried to get into New Light and they were just so confused.
Right.
And I tried to screen share with them to help them through it. And it's confusing. And so I feel like it makes, I don't know if it's still like that with Beyond Light, but the previous Beyond or New Light was so confusing and they quit. They don't play anymore. They downloaded it, didn't know what to do and quit. And I hope they fix that. I don't know if they have. I haven't tried to get anyone else into Destiny 2, but just from someone who's played it a lot, I don't personally feel like there's a real incentive to play. I mean, unless you really like fantasy space magic, then this is your game. But from a PvP player's aspect, I get that they try to push the more broken, easier metas because they want people to feel like they can play the game, and I try to understand that, but it's just not fun. It's not fun to play.
So New Light brings you to the Cosmodrome to Shaw, I think is his name.
Shawhan.
And it brings you through a tutorial that's kind of similar to the first mission that we played when we played the game. Like, this is how you crouch, this is how you jump, this is what your abilities are. And it's supposed to be a much more streamlined approach. Plus, all of the content that we had with the last version of New Light is gone. It's like you can't go to, I guess you could go to the EDZ, but you can't go to Nessus and to IO and then through, you know, Titan, all that kind of stuff. So at face value, it looks like it's more streamlined for a new player to come in and be involved. But my current stance on Beyond Light is if I don't have a raid invite, I'm not turning my PC on.
Right.
Like, that's all. The only reason I play right now is because I enjoy raiding. And as a full-time Crucible player, probably a few thousand hours in Crucible over the past 2 years, like I have, and it's not that there's not stuff to do. It's that the stuff that is there to do is not enticing. If that makes any sense. I don't see value in the power grind. You could be 1220 and go into a raid, and it's actually maybe even more fun because you get hit a little bit harder by ads. You do less damage. So like you have to play your life. Whereas right now I'm standing next to Atrax, just waiting for blocking his stomp and waiting for the call out, you know? So like I'm looking for more enticing. And I think Foxy kind of hits the nail on the head with this, where like the enticing content can't come at a drop by drop rate. Like it kind of has to be a floodgate that opens and hits us. And the story for Beyond Light was enjoyable. The second time it was still okay. I'm not going to play my warlock this season. Like I'm not doing that whole thing again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
So and doing all of these aspects and there's a little like, and I guess this is what MMOs are, right? They're
Yeah.
like, go here and do this, like go farm a cow so you can build a bush, and then the bush becomes a tree, and the tree gives you food so you can survive. But like, this is a fantasy shooter. This isn't like a survival kind of thing. So like, that's where I'm at with it. And I think what like with how my personal life has been, with like how busy I've been with work, with what we've got going on in the house, with all the work that's being done, like it all ties into it, right? Like what goes on in our private lives affects our gaming. And so like, that's also part of it. Like, it's like, if this was really enticing, I'd probably find a way to make time to make these things happen, but they're not. So I'm going to throw like Iron Resurrection on and watch a couple of car shows and, and hang out with some friends I haven't seen in a while over doing this, because there's just nothing that I feel like, man, this is so cool. I gotta do it.
I restarted my Hunter because I didn't like the way that it looked. And started the New Light campaign. You can do it also without restarting a character by going to the kiosk that's right next to your postmaster. But it's fairly straightforward. It's a lot of fetch questy stuff that it reminds me a lot of Destiny 1 in a lot of interesting and nostalgic ways that I don't think hits New Light players the same way. But it's fine. It's a much better, more streamlined version of what they originally had introduced. When it comes to like the content that we have in Destiny 2 at the moment, I liked the story from Beyond Light. I like what happened after the raid. I like what opened up. I feel like there are activities that are rewarding, but to an nth degree, such as the Lost Sector hunts, or the Lost Sectors and the Empire hunts. Like, once you get Cloud Strike, there's really not a reason to run the Empire hunts anymore. I was super lucky and got it on my third run of the Heroic, but like, I'm helping people out with that activity on my channel when they want to run it. So there's that aspect to it. It does reward a pinnacle at the higher levels. The Lost Sectors, I really like the idea of putting the new exotics behind solo difficulty Lost Sectors. Really enjoy that. I feel like that's much more rewarding than keeping all of your exotic Ingrams from the previous season and just hitting a button on them. And that is rewarding until you get that, and then that gets added to your loot pool. No reason high stat armor. Okay. That'll probably not use instead of the raid armor. But the overall, for me personally, last season I ran like 100 anarchies. And then I didn't take a break in between from that to Beyond Light. So I am a little like burnt out. And so we'll probably, like, Cyberpunk's coming out next week. I'm going to spend a little bit of time in there. It's not that there's not content to do. It's just there's content in there that doesn't excite me at the moment, outside of like helping people get through it. So that's kind of where I am. The crow stuff, I keep forgetting about the crow stuff. And when I start hovering over it to do it, I was like, or we could run strikes. Just anything else.
I feel like it's like Season of Undying or whatever it was called that came with Shadowkeep. Like, I feel like it's hard to do a worse job with a season than that, with the Vex offensive being so awful.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to know if this season is worse than that because I have no drive to try it.
Yeah.
But it looks like the patrols that we used to do where you would just go hunt the VIP. That's what this feels like. And just with a vendor in between that I got to go and talk to.
Yeah.
And it feels like sad that this, what could be really good story, lies behind content that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sad to have seen a lot of people talk about adding more loot to the loot pool and how like they just opened up a little bit more loot and stuff like that, which is nice. But with sunsetting, I really think they need to pay attention more to the quality of loot that they're releasing, because I think back on things that people actually enjoyed, like grinding for hours, and like things that brought people back to the game, like Spare and like Mindbenders. People grinded activities that had been in the game for seasons just to get rolls on these weapons. And now that those things have sunset, a lot of things have sunset, there doesn't seem to be anything that enticing in the loot pool now. Like, it's kind of just like, damn, that's gone, I guess. Like, I just have to find something else, you know? And that there's not like, oh, okay, it's fine, I can't use Mindbenders anymore. This shoddy from the raid looks amazing. Like, I'm gonna go grind that for... And the shoddy does look good for PvE, but it's like, there's no good PvP roll on it. Like, I haven't seen anyone using it, you know? There's a lot of things they took away and they just didn't replace them. And I think that should be a priority, because I think that would get a lot of people more invested in certain activities.
Even weapons that they did introduce to the loot pool, they did it in an RNG fashion. So one of the top weapons for Tanix is a first in, last out with Vorpal and auto-loading holster. You can get a first in, last out, but it's a completely random world drop from God knows what. And the 7 Seraph weapons are actually pretty good. Again, complete RNG. So like, not only did they sunset stuff and they did increase the loot pool, but they didn't give us the stuff they gave us that we could farm over and over again. It's really annoying to farm these things you got to pick up from Varix. And it's a bow, it's a, what is it, a sidearm, the fusion rifle, and
like, that opens up down the line, but it's on a second page that you wouldn't normally think about.
But it's like, all right, we got to farm Mindbenders. There's speed strats for that. It's one encounter. What's one thing? It's one strike. It's not go to this area and finish 25 of these, go over here and do 10 of that, and then go do this. So clear paths to gear is what Bungie thrives on, and they continue to not give us clear paths to gear. They're doing it for armor. We know what to do for exotic armor.
That's exactly why everyone loved Menagerie. And then they took that away.
My heart.
And so many people, PvE and PvP, loved Menagerie for that exact reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I feel like I struck a chord.
I need a tissue. I need a tissue.
He's about to cry. That single tear going down his cheek right now. It's edging the corner.
Except for that one wizard encounter where no one knew what to do. Other than that, yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I want to see them. I want to play this stuff, obviously, but like, and I think sunsetting hit us a little bit harder this season than it will in later seasons, like at least until whatever the next DLC is. So hopefully we don't have as much leaving next season as we did this season. But yeah, I can see that argument.
Aren't 7 Seraph stuff what leaves, or is it the
I mean,
no,
that stuff just got reintroduced, right?
The season of Saint 14, the season of Dawn is the stuff that I believe leaves next. So Martyr's Retribution, Steel Feather Repeater, stuff that next nobody even knows exists right now is going to get sunset. Judging by the fact there's no reaction from Vixin and Foxy, I don't think they know what I'm talking about. So I believe Season of Dawn is the stuff that would go next. Martyr's Retribution was the grenade launcher that you would fire and then it would shoot like a ball of flame. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Steel Feather was the AR from that series. There was this sidearm that people really loved from that.
Breachlight.
Breachlight. And then there's the linear fusion rifle everybody thought was going to be insane with firing line. It turns out it's awful. Line in the sand. PvEers were going nuts for that gun, thinking that was going to be the next high DPS.
Good.
Yeah, it's awful. It's so bad.
I need to delete it. I still have 3 of those in there. I need to delete. Yep.
Yeah, firing line's a worthless perk.
Yep. Thanks for reminding me. Anyways, next question. Moving on. Adam410 asks, if they bring back the Vault of Glass weapons, what gun are you grinding for?
Atheon's Epilogue. The one I hated the most in the original Vault of Glass. The AR that was awful. Because it's got 51 rounds in it. It's a light machine gun.
and it was a hose. If I remember
Oh,
correctly,
no.
right?
Yeah, it was insanely high rate of fire. It was Doctrine of Passing before Doctrine of Passing, only it wasn't good.
Other than Fatebringer, I think everybody's going for that, right?
Yeah, I'd definitely go for Fatebringer just because I'm a hand cannon person. I feel like I mean, I guess we don't know, but was Vex Mythic class the exotic?
Yes.
Yes.
I heard that was cool. So I mean I'd probably definitely like grind for the exotic if they bring that back.
The first 2 weeks it was out at 2-shot body shot.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It
I'd
was
grind for
nuts.
that.
It was insane. It was the first broken weapon, I think.
Mm.
I guess we lost Vixin.
I guess so.
Oh.
Poop. Maybe she has to clock back in.
Possibly.
So, yeah, it was. Vex was the exotic. There was Hezin's Vengeance. There was the Praetor's Timepiece. Praetor's Revenge was the
Mm.
sniper, which was really good. I don't know.
I hope they bring back some stuff to replace some things. I know a lot of people have like a FOMO thing with Fellwinters right now because they never brought the quest back. So if they brought another shotgun that was nice or another sniper, I'd probably grind that too.
Yeah. The sniper was what I was thinking. Praetor's Revenge.
I loved that sniper.
Yeah.
Had a really good scope on it, really good visibility.
I hope they keep the raid specific perks.
What were the perks? I don't know anything about Vault of
Like-
Glass, so
Like on Vault of Glass, they would like Oracle Disruptor. Weapon deals bonus damage to oracles in Vault of Glass. It was just stuff like that helped.
They were
you
perks that were
encounter.
specific to the raid, but they didn't take the slot of other perks in the gun. So the way that the trees worked out, like you could still have Outlaw Rampage and that perk on it. It wouldn't take the place of one of the perks that you would rely on to beat for performance.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I think all it was they would do bonus damage to oracles so that when you had to fight the oracle encounter, it was the first time we had seen raid specific perks on anything.
Mhm.
And it was something that we asked for more moving forward that we didn't really get until recently.
Wrath? Well, we got that was all through Wrath, right? That we got.
I think like Destiny 2 is where they didn't give us raid specific perks for
Yeah.
a while. Like I don't even think Leviathan had.
No. And so this one, like with them having like recombination, and what's the other one?
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction. Yeah, that's kind of it. We saw more perks for armor than we did for the weapons. It looks like so she had connection issues. So Vixin, hopefully Vixin can join us back up. Felly asks, any new favorite perks from Beyond Light and or the raid?
Reconstruction's insane.
Yeah.
Recombination is really nice too. Especially in PvE. I think that was a really cool perk. There's something else too that I can't remember. Oh, I think it's called Wellspring. Is that it? Where it like refreshes your abilities or something like that, kills refresh your abilities, or they like give them energy.
Oh.
I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll have to look it up. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there's one that does that. And I thought it was really cool. And it's been really helpful. I have it on a couple like PvE roles.
I'm trying to
I'd
find
have
it.
to
Yeah,
check.
kills with this weapon generate ability energy. I thought that I have it on one of the raid weapons, and it's really nice. I thought it was a cool perk.
Heck yeah. All right, I'm going to bring Vixin back in here. Gonna
Yeah.
reconfigure a couple things here.
You're
There we
good.
go. All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
Oh, it's still pretty spotty.
Okay. Well, hold on. We'll get through it together. So, what perks are you enjoying from this season and from the raid, Vixin?
maybe not.
Maybe not. We'll see. Anyways, for the last question, Radaka asks, now that the PS5 and the new Xbox and better now that we have the PS5, the new Xbox and better computers, do you guys want to see bigger public events like Escalation Protocol, but on a larger scale? Would you want to see larger scale public events where you throw balls at rafters?
I'd want to
I'm-
see like how many people you can fit in an instance. Like, is it still
Yeah.
9?
Yeah.
If it's still 9, then I don't know if you can go with a bigger public event. I mean, what are some of the public events we have going on right now? We don't really have. I mean, you still have the waves on the moon, but it's like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you have
Altar of
whatever the
Sorrows, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's whatever this thing is on Europa with the Stasis regeneration amped up. That
Mhm.
isn't really much of
Mhm.
anything other than. So I don't know. As much as I would like to say yes, like when Escalation Protocol first launched, it was so problematic because everyone was under leveled. Nobody could get it done except for lords, and then trying to instance in with people was a pain, to the point where people were asking for 9 fire teams of 9 to go into public spaces like that.
Mhm.
So that, I mean, Blind Well was another one
Mhm.
that could go north or south. I don't know. I give me fire team match made challenging content
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that isn't Nightfalls with 8 billion modifiers to the point where if I look at a dreg, I get one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same mindset. I think I'd rather do something with the fire team than just have like a mass public event area.
Mhm.
Especially if they're gonna tie valuable loot to it. I'd way rather be in control of how I grind that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's heavy. I just think of like all the connection issues we had in the past when even you had 9 people in there.
I don't know how the console thing comes into play. You know what I mean? Like we were doing
Yeah.
Escalation Protocol on PlayStation 4 on Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mhm.
how that like an increased frame rate for next gen or current gen, however you want
Yeah.
to call it, would impact that, other than making it maybe less laggy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would want there to be rewards that would match it, that would scale to like the difficulty of how many people were in the area, I guess,
Mm.
if that would make sense. Like if you have 200 people doing the activity and you breeze through it real quick,
Yeah.
cool, like
Mm.
neat. But if there's 9 of you doing it, the return on investment should be really high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Other than that, I think that's all the questions for this evening. And I want to thank you guys so much for being on the show. I think do you have any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to say before we go?
I always like to put scrim queens out there. There are
Mhm.
any females that would like to get into more competitive side of PvP. It's educational, introductory. You don't have to have any type of skill level. We welcome everybody.
Mhm.
And I try to just put that out there for any female that is thinking about it but hasn't made the leap yet. Just come play some games with us. We play every Wednesday. I think we did say we were going to stick with 9 p.m. Eastern. I think
Mm-hmm.
we may switch it up, but 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
and we've been trying to point out too, like everyone's welcome in the Discord. It's not just ladies. So like if you want to join, feel free to hop. There's like LFG channels for PvP and all that stuff. So as long as you're a decent human being, you're welcome to stay in LFG and hang out, whatever you want to do. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys for all that you do in your community, and thanks for being here. Why don't you tell the folks at home where they can find you on the internet?
I stream at twitch.tv/Foxytocinn with 2 N's. And yeah, I am trying to stick to a schedule. It's difficult. I had a surgery like a month and a half ago, so I'm trying to get my life back in order, but it's been a little bit of a struggle. So I will try to be live at that location Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So that's where you can find me.
Heck yeah. What about you, Vixen?
I stream every night at late night hours, normally 2 a.m. Eastern on. And if you are waking up in the middle of the night, just leave a lurk or something. I put in something very recently, and lurks are very appreciated and helpful at this current time.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you put in for the partnership, right? For Twitch partnership?
We're
Yeah.
not supposed to say that word, Dan. We're not supposed to say that
Sorry.
word.
Keyword.
Keyword president. We say president
Okay,
instead. Vixin for
president.
president.
Vixen for president.
Yes.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Real quick, for anybody out there listening, if you want to follow Scrim Queens, it's twitter.com/Scrim, SCRIM, Queens GG, at Scrim Queens GG on Twitter if you guys want to follow that. Ladies out there trying to get involved.
Absolutely. And thank you guys once again for hanging out with us today.
Thank you guys for letting us.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, and I'm glad that it worked out. I'm glad that it worked out with time, and that you're feeling better. And yeah, it's just all this is awesome.
Fun.
Aura, where can they find you on the internet, good sir?
You can't find me.
You can't.
I don't exist anymore.
Even the
Retired.
bowels.
I haven't streamed in 3 weeks, and when I did, it was once in that prior 3 weeks too. So
Was it the
one stream in
Vixen?
6 weeks, dude. That's where we're at right now
Every 3 weeks.
with my work schedule and whatnot. You guys can't find me. Sorry, I don't exist.
Well, to wrap up, I'm Danfinity. You can find me 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity, helping you out with PvE stuff. And I think this week we're going to jump into some Cyberpunk 2077. Outside of that, that's our show. So thanks everybody for sticking around and for hanging out with us this evening. We'll see you next week, and I hope you find what you're grinding for.